Hello, my name is Casey Fukunaga, and this is for KRS 640, my systematic review presentation. For my systematic review presentation, I chose to use the study called Personal and Social Development in Physical Education and Sports, a review study done by Kotrin Opstowel. The purpose of this review was to aim to answer three of the following questions. What characterizes studies investigating the benefits of PE and sports on children's personal and social development? Within this question, they're going to be talking about using cross sectional studies versus longitudinal studies, which allows researchers to draw conclusions of personal and social development over long periods of time. Most studies were not randomized controlled trials, leading for potential bias. The second question is which concepts of personal and social developments are investigated in relation to PE and sports. Within this, they're going to talk about 11 concepts or themes. These include things such as work ethic, control and management, goal setting, decision making, problem solving, responsibility, leadership, cooperation, meeting people and making friends, communication, and pro social behavior. And then the last question that they're going to be asking is what does the literature indicate are the main benefits of PE and sports in terms of children's personal and social development? Within this, they're going to be talking about pro social behavior, cooperation, and work ethic at the expense of decision making and problem solving skills. The main findings from this were that they reported positively on the relationships between the following personal and social development concepts: social skills, life skills, personal development, personal skills, social development, social competence, and psychological competence. As you can see, though, a lot of it was more focused or geared towards sports than it was in PE. However, as you can see, though, as the top two, social skills and life skills, within the PE setting, you are learning and developing concepts that are going to help you in your life. Finding outside of the social and emotional aspect of transfer skills to PE and sports to different contexts, whether that was at home, playground, anywhere that's outside of the PE or sports setting. The study found that few students reported that they employed some skills in other contexts, again, outside of the PE setting or sports setting, whether that was on the playground, whether that was at home, whether that was playing with their friends. The next one was that some students knew the importance or benefits of transfer of skill, again, not utilizing that skill necessarily in a sport or PE setting, but in a life setting somehow. The transfer skills are observed by parents or teachers or the children themselves, and that peer support, pride, opportunities, rewards were deemed as important to enable the transfer of skills to, again, allowing these students to grow, to utilizing their skills learned through PE or sport, but just used to the next four charts that you will be seeing are the concepts related to personal and social development, which were measured across 88 total studies. These included the 11 themes: work ethic, control and management, goal setting, decision making, problem solving, responsibility, leadership, cooperation, meeting people and making friends, communication, and pro social behavior. Most of these studies used cross sectional data, and there were only a few that used longitudinal data during their studies. As you can see within each theme, so for example, work ethic, they had their different umbrella terms of how the data was collected. So, for example, under work ethic, there's self discipline. Another collection of data was to assertiveness, initiative, effort, commitment. The next one was to being tough and not giving up or perseverance. So each theme had its own concept with the data that was collected through the 88 different case studies. The findings suggest that integrating personal and social development goals into PE curriculum can enhance students' overall growth. By looking at the 11 themes that they listed, trying to include that into your lessons will help you and help your students grow. These could include things like promoting teamwork and cooperation. This can be an example like group sports, soccer, basketball, volleyball. Another example of this could be building leadership skills, which can be done through small groups or leadership opportunities. This can include things like peer coaching, right, leading warm ups, Goal setting and self-reflection is another thing that a lesson can be focused on, which is individual skill development, right? Having a goal, setting a goal, hitting that goal, setting a new goal for yourself, and continuing that process. And then fostering communication skills, so a lot of partner-based activities that can include things like paired stretching, paired drills, just where one student is working with either someone else or a group, so that they are working on those communication skills while meeting people and making friends. The strength to this study was number one, in my personal opinion, was a pro-social behavior, which include concepts like respect, empathy, and sympathy. But this was probably the most widely examined outcome throughout this study. And to me, the pro-social behaviors that you're learning and gathering the information from is a clear indicator of the benefits and the positivity that we have within the PE and sports. Another strength of this was having 11 clear themes, which was, again, all the things talked about in the previous slides, but just things that we already do as usually we do as teachers, and now just how do we apply that. Some of the weaknesses of this review study was number one, it lacked information regarding programs characteristics. It talked about how they applied it in their class setting or their sports setting, but not necessarily what they did. Another weakness I thought was that most programs included in this review had clearly defined goals, but the strategies to achieve these goals were not always clearly described. And then the last one was that this focused a lot more on the sports side rather than the PE side. And just because for us personally, we're looking at it from the PE aspect, that was, I felt, a weakness for this article. However, though, it was still applicable because PE and sports can go hand in hand. With previous findings, one of them was Hardman in 2014 noted that personal and social development constitutes as one of the main and most frequent cited goals of European PE programs. And also Weiss in 2011, there is evidence that showed that youngsters can develop these personal and social skills through participation in PE or sports. The implications of this include teachers and coaches play an important role in which positive outcomes can be achieved. So whether this is going to be through explicit or implicit approach, we need to make sure as teachers or coaches that we're creating an appropriate environment to earn this. While also doing that, we need to make sure that we have an environment that's supportive to helping foster skills to be transferred. We also need to make sure that when designing and creating curriculum is that we're creating an environment which positive outcomes can be obtained and it's not something that's unachievable. We need to also make sure and understand that just because we're participating in PE, that does not lead to automatically lead to positive outcomes. So we need to make sure that our lessons are geared towards positive outcomes that can be recommendations that I feel that could be made to help improve this review study is number one, looking at longitudinal data, which is just more over a span of years rather than just cross sections, which right is just little small sample sizes. Another one is to study these skills in the realm of PE, because as you can see, or as you saw, a lot of this had to focus on more sport based rather than the PE setting. So now just trying to look at it more from the PE aspect is something that I would be recommended. Another one is how do negative skills, because we talked about a lot of positive, but how can negative skills such as jealousy or exclusion affect the positive benefits that we get out of PE? And the last one is how do teachers and coaches affect positive or negative outcomes of social and or personal development?